The other group is walking in the door with no energy background. This is the trap that those of us could fall into. I can't do this. I can't do this. So that's the way I walked into this. No energy background, no metaphysical exposure. CPA, Western medicine is my frame of reference. We can all do this, friends. There's so much grace. There's so much grace. We have to be willing to stink at it, to be really bad at it, to make a bunch of mistakes. We have to be willing to make a fool of ourselves. And trust. And friends, your guides love you. They haven't brought you this far to drop you on your heads. They're not tricking you. They're not going to let you down. They're there. They're there for you, and they're there for the person you're working with. You see, every time a healing happens, it's the person who you're working with, you the facilitator, and the higher dimension beings. The higher dimension beings are always going to do their part. They never drop the ball. You get that, right? And so it's the two of us and our subject, and we both have some element of grace. Even if we've gone through our whole tank of grace, we've spent it all frivolously, they still have their tank of grace, you see? And so sometimes miracles happen in our presence, even when we're, we're stinking at it. Does that make sense? What if I see why they had to say that. What if I only want to work on myself? So friends, if we're only working on ourselves, this is still the easiest way to go, because when there's two of us in the room, there's two grace tanks, right? Whereas if it's just us working on ourselves, whose grace is involved? Just us, you see, just us. So self-treatment is brutally tough, brutally tough. And so even if you only want to heal yourself, it's easier to practice on other people and then engage in the simultaneous healing. We were talking before the class, Larissa, about when we're after a session, if we have separated and we still have sensations, first thing we do is we separate again because maybe we didn't do a very good job. Let's really get a good closing process. And if the sensations are still there, then almost all, the next thing to, then 90% of the time, what needs to happen next is for us to look for our own simultaneous healing. We've walked away from it, you see? We've forgotten. We've forgotten to include ourselves in the process. And then after that, if we've done a good solid close, the sensations come back, and we repeat a good solid close, the sensations come back. We look for our simultaneous healing. We go for it. There's still more. The sensations are still there. Then it could be any number of another, like, it's like those are the two big likely things. And then after that, what it looks like is a table laid out with lots of little things on it. Then it could be any of these other 20 things. So what you do at that point is get with another Lightworkers Healing Method student and say, here's what's going on for me. Can you do a session for me and help me figure out what's going on? Because it's confusing to find our own stuff. It's hard. Does that make sense? And to be careful to make sure that you're working with someone who is more clear than you are, not less clear, more clear than you are, not less clear. Because if we're turned around in our chairs looking backward, it can mess us up. So to be sure that you're working with someone who's more clear than you are. And this isn't about judging or evaluating. It's just about, if you're trying to learn multiplication tables, would you ask somebody who's already learned it, or would you ask somebody who hasn't learned it yet? Right? It wouldn't make sense. So to be sure you're listening to someone who's more clear. So, can I do this? Who's ever had this question? Can I do this? I'm thinking we've all had this, right? This is what really is going on for all of us, this sinking feeling of, there's no way I can do this, right? Honestly, truthfully, is anybody arguing with that? Right. So here's where the grace comes in, you see? This is where the grace comes in. All we ever have to do is our best. We're never being asked to do more than we can do, and they know exactly what we can do. They see you when you're sleeping. They know what we can do. So we have to do our best. And usually that includes some courage and some trust, you see? But you have courage. So we gather up our courage, we hope, we trust, and we act. Hope, trust, act. Arthur Ashe, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and then ask for divine to make it right. And then you can do it. So it's normal to feel like we can't do it. But step by step, we just start where we are. We just take a step. We can all do something. We can all do something. We don't have to fake it. As soon as we start faking it, you know what we've really decided? I can't do it for real. And so, friends, please, don't fake it. Don't fake it. You're stealing the gift from yourself. When you decide to fake it, you're stealing the gift from yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's better to not do anything. It's better to walk away than to fake it. It's better to walk away than to fake it. Don't fake it. We'll help you do it for real. For real. It's your free will choice, you understand? And it's a moment by moment. And I have to tell you, of course we all in certain moments have chosen to fake it. Who's ever chosen to fake it? We don't realize it in the moment. You see, that's not how we're wording it to ourselves in the moment. We're not or at least I didn't, right? We're not wording it as, oh, now I'm just going to fake it. We say, oh, well, something else. Does that make sense? And then in retrospect, we look back and go, wow, I was faking it. I was faking it. We don't have to do it. I'm 7 minutes late. Pat. It's okay. Can you guys pass that to Pat? Thank you, thank you.
Could you describe to me what the column of light in relationship to the energy channels, what that looks like? I'm very visual.
Yes! Un momento, por favor. I can do that. I can do that.
Okay,
Now, here we are. This is teeny us.
That's teeny us.
Angels, light beings. Center of the planet, down here.
Yes.
Huge source of life and love and light and healing. Source above. Huge source of life, love, light, healing. Here we are, teeny us. Our channels can be all pointed out. Here's the world. And so usually we're just paying attention to what's around us in the world, right? This is how we are, right? We're paying attention to other people and to experiences and situations around us in life, right? And so our channels are just out here pretty much missing the big picture. Now, as we gradually start to draw our focus up, we start to hear things, right? We start to see things, right? We start to feel things. It's like, holy moly, there's a lot going on. The more we draw our focus up, the less we're paying attention to. This is the astral, okay, so this does not turn out exactly like I wanted it to, but it was close enough, and this was about the 25th version, so it's like, okay, I give up. So it's okay. It's okay. It's beautiful and I'm grateful for it. This is supposed to be the astral planes. You see that we have to go past, through the astral planes. Channels all the way up, all the way through the astrals, all the way up. And now, here's the miracle. If we're even trying, and our Hartley was with us at the expo last weekend, and there was an angel reader. And so Hartley accepted the challenge of going over and observing the angel reader's energy body. What is she actually doing? She could be, what is she doing? Good question, right? So Hartley's getting his game on so that he can TA at Kripalu with me. Go, Hartley. And you have to get your game on, though. So he notices her channels are going out, but they're dipping up at the ends. So she's trying, you see? Her channels are going out, but they're dipping up. Now, would we certify anyone with that alignment? Of course not. Of course not. But she's trying. And so the angels are blowing through the tubes, just like they are for all of us as we're trying. You see? Now, if we get lazy and quit trying to draw the channels up, how long will that grace last? Not so long. It will wear off. It will wear off. So the pillar of light is the big thing around us.
Big, big, wide, 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 wide.
It starts however whatever size it is. The goal is to have it so big we can't lunge out of it, our life occurs inside of it, and that we're fulfilling our destiny. Now, for some of us, our destinies include have a big pillar, make a difference. Make a difference.
Be as big as you can and channels up.
Channels up. Channels up is the thing. So the first most important thing is to get the vertical alignment. Once the vertical alignment is big, strong, long, then to be as wide as possible. And it's a process. We stretch vertically, we stretch horizontally, we stretch vertically, we stretch horizontally, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until we're living our life in sacred space. Channels up. Does that help?
Yes. Yes, we're encased within
Yes.
the pillar of light. And there's plenty of room for channels. There's plenty of room for the expansion of our chakras.
Yes.
Everything that happens to us, it's big enough to handle.
Yes.
For us to be safe.
To live our lives in sacred space.
And in
We have the
perfect
right
alignment.
to live our lives in sacred space. It's up to us to create it. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whoop, whoop. That's from his case studies. Hi, Hartley.